Hi, and welcome to Pillow Talk with Angela. I'm your host, Angela Stribling, and we have my friend who is across the pond. She's so sweet. I mean, fortunately, we didn't get her too late this time, but the last time I talked to her, we had her up, I think it was like 1 or 2 in the morning, and she was such a trooper. She didn't complain at all. But now I think it's about 10 p.m. or something like that. So she's on with us tonight to talk about her new single, Fingerprints, but also the Pillow Talk topic. We're talking about how being in love and being in a relationship, how we're different when we're in these relationships, and especially when you're in love and when it's going great, and maybe even when it's going not so great. It does affect you. I mean, that's a powerful position. So, all right, I've given her a little bit of a talk up. Well, let me get my background together here. I don't want that plug showing. Please welcome, now that I've got my background all cleared up, we got to make it right for my girl. Please welcome Hil St. Soul.
Hi. Hi, Angela. So
Hi.
lovely to be with you.
Oh, it's so lovely to be with you too, and you look so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, it's wonderful to see you. I
Oh,
really, I love your music, but I also love your personality. I got to know you. That was like what, maybe a month ago that we were
yeah,
chit-chatting?
that's right. Yeah, it
Yeah.
feels like we've known each other forever, right?
I know. I mean, I didn't want the conversation to end, and neither did the
Yeah.
people in the comments. Really, really nice. And so I'm glad you're back. Thank you for saying yes to being
Oh,
with us
thank you for
today.
having me again.
Oh, look, we've got some love already. Hi, lovely ladies. Hi, Kirsten. Thank you
Hi.
so much for saying hello. So, all right,
Oh,
can we start off by
it's
pillow talking
Kirsten.
a
She
little
came to
bit?
my show.
Oh, did she? Is
Yeah, she
she?
was at my show just on Sunday in Jazz Cafe. She's from Germany, actually. She's based in Germany, so
Oh, that's
she
so
flew all the
nice.
way to come and see me perform.
Oh,
Isn't
now
that amazing?
that's love. That's a super fan.
Yeah,
That's so
absolutely.
appreciated. Kirsten, you rock. But I don't blame you. I mean, everybody loves Hill.
Oh,
Everybody loves you. And, just listening to your music, you get a sense of your personality. You really get to know you just through your music. But before
right.
we talk about that,
Yes.
let's talk about Hill in relationships. So the
Okay.
topic is, how we're different when we're in a relationship and when we're not.
Yeah.
How would you say what are the ways that
Ooh,
you notice that you're different?
I think I mean when I've been in relationships I'm quite I'm very committed, so I do feel like I give a lot of myself,
Yeah.
which obviously can have a downside, especially if it's the relationship is kind of, I suppose, one way than the other, if you know what I mean. If it's not
Yeah.
necessarily balanced, then yeah, that can be a little tricky. But I'm definitely very committed. Yeah, just like I think I've got as we say over here, the blinkers on as well. You kind of sometimes you get blinded, don't you? When you're so in
Mm,
love, you get blinded, and I think I remember, like, especially when I was like, specific relationship that I was in, and I was um so in love with this person to the point when because I had to travel to back home to visit my folks, and I was just really missing him. And normally when I go, because go traveling home, you need to spend at least a month or two there. And I think
yes,
that
in
last,
Zambia, they all wanna be with
yeah,
you. You wanna be with
yeah,
them.
exactly. Yeah, so I lasted, like, I think it must have been like 5 days, and then I booked a flight back because I just
Oh,
wanted to be with that person.
oh, honey,
Yeah.
you were in love.
I was in
Yes.
love. I was in love. I don't know
Mm,
if I'd do that again, but yeah, I think I when I fall in love, I fall quite hard, I'd say. Definitely.
mm.
Yeah, I'm one of
Okay, so
those.
I love that. I'm just like that too. And it's nice when it's reciprocal, but you're right. I
Yes.
mean, when it's not,
It's not, then yeah, it can be a little bit it can be a bit, yeah, tricky to navigate because
yeah,
obviously, you're giving more of you than the other person, so it
yeah,
kind of inevitably, yeah, it's not really going to work out if it's not it's not on sort of like an even kind of landscape, if
yeah,
it's
I agree.
yeah,
And
absolutely. So
Kirsten said that we met on the Soul Train cruise. Oh, she gets around. Hi, Kirsten.
oh,
Oh, I love it. Oh, Hill,
okay.
you on that cruise, you'd be amazing. Yeah, there's
I would
different
love to. I've done the Capital
outlets.
Jazz, so I definitely need to get on that soul cruise. Absolutely.
Yeah, okay, we'll talk after the show.
Yeah.
We'll
Okay.
definitely talk. And
Oh,
I got Yeah. But, so yeah, I've been on that spectrum as well,
Oh,
where, I
wonderful.
knew I was the one who had fallen deeper and it never really caught up. And so,
Yeah.
fortunately, the self-esteem kind of kicked in and, it's like, all right, this is not really
What
that
you
healthy.
yeah, what you signed up for. But,
Yeah.
the thing is, it's like when, with love, it's like, I don't know, I'm quite an emotional, I get easily attached. So,
Good.
and I feel like when you're that kind of a person, it's really difficult to, to get out of it, in the sense of, like, it took me a long time to get over that particular
Mm,
situation. It was like, to the point where I wasn't really interested in dating, and
yeah.
yeah, and I if you almost kind of like forget yourself. So I think it's
Yeah,
so
you
important when,
do.
when you get into a situation, just always, you have to first and foremost be happy with you before,
Yeah.
because obviously things fall apart, and yeah, and if you're too heavily reliant on that situation, it
Yeah.
can turn your world topsy turvy, couldn't it? So
Yeah, topsy-turvy for sure.
upside down,
I mean,
yes,
and we learn, I mean, I think it's wonderful that as a grown-up, as an
yes,
adult, you can still love innocently. That's something to
yeah,
protect,
absolutely, yes,
right? I mean,
exactly,
because I know so many people who are like you and I, where when
right,
we love completely. We really open ourselves up to real love because that's what we're giving. It's like I'm
yeah,
giving you when I fall in love, just like you, I am in it to win it. I really am.
absolutely,
Until I'm not. If
yeah,
until I'm not though. If it gets to the point where it's not healthy, there is something about me that can switch off. And once
right, yeah.
I switch off, I can't be turned back on.
I think we are kindred spirits, because I'm the same. Because, I mean, it takes me a while, but yeah,
Yeah.
once I kind of, cross that kind of threshold,
Yeah.
yeah, if I switch off, that's it. And I think
Yeah.
people sometimes get me twisted, as it were, or get it, they don't sort of, they kind of call your bluff, like, oh no, she's not
Yeah.
gonna, because I've had
Isn't
that
that going
situation.
anywhere?
Yeah, that's right. They take you for granted. But I'm one of these guys that, yeah, once I've switched off, then yeah, that's it, we're done.
Yeah.
I
I
don't know.
think
I find it difficult to sort of, in some situations, I think, depends, but generally, the whole thing of staying friends, and yeah, I just keep it moving.
mhm. And I
On to
think
the next one,
on to the next, and for a while, just
On to
back to
the next.
me. I'm just gonna try to
Yeah,
replenish
no,
all
definitely,
that
yeah.
stuff and I'm good, but I'm grateful that I can still keep my heart open, that it hasn't
Yeah,
I won't allow it to scar me if just because someone else doesn't know how to love. Doesn't
yeah,
mean
no,
that I have
absolutely.
to walk around scarred. I refuse that.
Yeah.
And those who are watching, we'd love it for you to chime in as well. This is some grown-up conversation. We're just
Yes.
telling the truth about love. So conversely, I feel like I can be a lot stronger in relationships in many ways because if
Right.
it's the right relationship, you're
Yeah.
empowered. And if they're pouring into me as much as I'm pouring into them, you both can't help but be elevated.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I totally agree with that.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think, I mean, you learn and hopefully evolve. I think it's a constant, just like you were
That
saying,
is so important. I think, yeah, I think, a lot of us sometimes find ourselves in situations where you kind of, obviously, when you get out of a situation, it takes time. You're still hurting, and what have you. But I think the main thing is to try and take something positive from it, and yeah, even if it's like a life lesson. So
yeah,
when you take into next situation, it's going to help you, hopefully make you a stronger person,
yeah,
and know what to, the signs to look out for, and the kind of qualities that you want in that person. Yeah, so
yeah.
definitely, to just try and have a positive outlook, really.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that because I think the relationships are really all about yourself more than your partner because whatever it is that they bring up, it's something for us to learn about ourselves. And in this particular
Yes.
case, so for the next one, you learn to focus more on yourself, to
Yeah,
still love
absolutely.
completely, but not to get lost, to not
Yes,
ever
that's the
allow
danger. Getting
yourself.
lost. Yeah.
And, for me, I'll just, when I feel myself in that, and it's easy, especially if you're in a relationship with a wonderful person and a powerful person or whatever, and
Yeah.
larger than life, it's easy to just kind of be all in their world. But I don't think that's what we're supposed to do. I think,
No, it's not
yes,
healthy,
that,
yeah.
but also don't forget what they were attracted to in the
In the
beginning,
first
and
place,
that
yeah.
you completely, not half of you.
Yeah,
So that's like
absolutely, I agree.
it's a journey. I mean, I mean, I'm still learning that lesson. It's a constant. It's a,
It
as
is,
soon as
it
you start
is.
feeling a little bit lost, then it's like, I know what this is. So let me just kind of focus on me because that's
Yeah,
really what it's saying. Oh, Sister Queen, trying to love again, but
absolutely.
the scars are painful. Yeah, I mean, so you get what we're saying. It can be painful, but the thing
It
is,
is.
don't give up.
No, everyone's journey is different, and
Yeah.
don't kind of put a time on how long it will take for you to
Mm-mm.
kind of recover from that situation. It's
Yeah.
just all take your time and just find that right person, and not to just jump into any situation just to kind of make yourself feel better.
Oh gosh,
Definitely
yeah.
kind of try and wait for that, for somebody that's worthy of your love. Really, that's what I would say.
Yes, that's such good advice, and you're right. I mean, discernment is the thing because when
Yes.
you're lonely, you can't trust your emotions. You really cannot. When I look back and I think of, a couple people I dated, it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
That would
What was
have
I thinking?
never happened.
Yeah, yeah,
You
definitely.
know, catch somebody when they're just, you're like, okay, I've, maybe kissed too many frogs or kissed a frog recently, and then you just really want to go to the movies with somebody special or whatever the case
Yeah,
may be. And those are the times when you rely on your good girlfriends and your
yeah, absolutely.
right family
Definitely.
members, anybody, other people who really
Love
love you
you for you, yeah, unconditionally. So yeah, definitely.
unconditionally while you're still healing, and just
Yeah,
praying for that. Discernment is the key. Discernment is the key. Just being ready, just like Hill, just like you said, all relationships are not the same. All the healing, the hurts are not the same.
no,
But, but the commonality is that, your spirit knows when it's not right. And it's, even though it might be hard, good for you for just breaking yourself free and
really,
having
yeah,
faith that
definitely.
your right person is
Yeah.
coming. Get ready.
I think you have to just, place importance on yourself really, and
Hmm.
protect your heart, obviously.
Hmm.
But yeah, there is, that the right person out there will treat you the right way. So
Yeah.
sometimes it just takes a little longer than you'd like, but I think it's
Yeah.
more important to be in the right situation than in the wrong situation. Because I've got friends that have been with people where you can just see it's toxic, and for whatever reason they can't break away, and they'll just
Yeah.
or some people that just don't like being out of a relationship. They always feel like they have to be in a situation. And I've never been one of these guys. I'm always kind of
Mm.
like, I'm cool with, if I've, my thing is, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. If it isn't, then it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
That's my outlook anyway.
Yeah. And that's, I think we're sisters.
I
You and I are
guess so.
so much, we're so much alike. I mean, I think, learning to love your own company, you know,
Yeah, it's so
learning to
important,
not
right?
be
So
right,
important.
to not be lonely, and when you're by yourself, just figure out, okay, what is it that I like? Because one of the good things, say you do break free from one of these toxic, or maybe not even toxic, but a relationship that's not really meant for
This
you.
is not right for you. Yeah.
And one of the good things about once you're free is that, okay, now I can do those things that I didn't have time to do when I was in a relationship because I was trying to make that work. Okay, well, now I can hang out with my girlfriends. I can go roller skating or whatever the hobby might be,
Yeah.
spend a little time just figuring out, what does Angela want? What does Hill want? And
Yeah.
just,
Absolutely.
develop all that love for yourself. And it gets you even more, I think, more ready for that
The
person
next one,
for
yeah,
you.
definitely.
Yeah, for
And
the
I
right
feel like
one.
it's also, your, I guess your outlook, and how what you're projecting, that also plays a
Yeah,
big part in attracting
huge.
the right kind of person. Because if they see your kind of, your personality, they see your, this kind of a person, they're kind of drawn to that, they gravitate to that. So it's so important, yeah, to look after yourself first, and make sure you're ready for the next,
Oh, yeah.
situation.
So now, Hill, you sing so beautifully,
Oh, thank you.
and you do. I mean, and you are a whole vibe,
Oh, thank
from your,
you.
your look. We were just talking before we started this conversation publicly. I was just complimenting just your sense of use of color, the way you dress, the way you just did your
Oh,
makeup, and your heart is just so beautiful. So I'm saying all that to say, I'm sure when you're up there on the stage singing, all people, I don't know if they come up and say anything, but they're probably feeling you left and right. And so you're
ah,
probably like, fielding off people.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, obviously, yeah, because I think people, when you're performing, so I mean, for myself anyway, I do kind of get into, I mean, you see a lot of my personality on stage, definitely.
Yeah.
But I do kind of, the Hills on stage is very different from the Hills at home because, I'm quite chilled, I'm a bit of a slob, but obviously on stage, I'll go out there, make an effort. And yes, you do kind of, attract a lot of attention, but, I take it with a pinch of salt, to be honest with you. It's like, I'm always kind of, I'm flattered and I'm thankful, but, it's not real, is it really? So unless, of course, you connect with someone, but yeah.
Right.
You
I
have
mean,
to
I
connect,
know
yeah.
many artists who met their mate. The mate
That's
was in the
true.
audience, a fan. But
That's
it's funny, I don't know about you, but when I'm in work mode, I've
uh-huh.
got these blinders on. I don't get it. Like somebody could be flirting with me shamelessly and I'm in work mode. So I don't get it until
We're the
a couple
same.
years
I'm exactly the
ago.
same. And it's like, yeah.
But a couple years ago, my husband, I was hosting an event and he was the keynote speaker and he made it very clear that he was interested. And
Ah,
I
you can,
snapped out of the work zone. I was like, oh,
okay.
okay.
Was that
And
the first time you were meeting though? Or
well, no, we had seen each other peripherally,
right,
and
okay.
he was married. I had never been married before.
Oh, okay.
And, it's just, I'm getting ready to bring him on stage. And he, I asked him to help me with something and just to connect on LinkedIn. And he said,
Right.
yeah, I'm in LinkedIn, but what's your email? So I gave him the email. He goes, okay, now what's your phone number?
Ah,
It's like, I
very
think,
direct.
I think he's flirting. And so, but at first I didn't think too much because I thought he was, married, but he was not anymore. And so anyway, that whole relationship started
Oh,
that way. And I bring it up to say, um, when you're working and, someone is, maybe just fanning out or truly wants to know you, has that ever happened? And are you open to that?
yeah, it has actually. I mean, to be honest with you, I never rush into anything. I kind of,
Yeah.
for me, it's important to get to know that person because
Yeah.
obviously the initial reaction or whatever, it's kind of on the surface. So I
Yeah.
always want a little bit more. But yeah, no, I have had that situation definitely. In fact, it was I was shooting one of my videos, and my love interest. It was we had to be quite not intimate, but just very. We had to look like we're loved up.
Yeah.
And I think he really was loved up, and yeah, by the end of the shoot, I mean, and it's funny because obviously there was a lot of there was just a lot of like holding hands and
Oh,
what have
yeah.
you. I was like, oh, what's going on here? Because he was very very
He was
tactile
into it.
and yeah. So it was
He's
kind of
like,
like
baby.
and at the end of the shoot, he was like, oh, I'd like to take you out, and I'm like, okay. I mean, obviously, I was very polite because at that point I was due to travel, but yeah, he was head over heels, I'd say.
Did
Um,
anything, I mean, was it a connection? Connection?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it was just. You know what? I have to
Oh, you
question
didn't
it.
pursue it.
Yeah, no, I didn't pursue it. No, I didn't. I don't know. I just felt. I think it's because I was traveling back here and he was over there, but it was just more. And also just feel like I need to know a little bit more than just what I kind of saw on the shoot. It wasn't.
Right.
That's not enough to jump into a relationship. But
Yeah, yeah,
but on the day itself, it was fun and everything. But yeah, it was just the fact that the lines got a bit blurred from his end,
yeah.
which
Right.
which is quite
He was like,
amusing.
You are my woman now.
Yeah, honestly,
We're in this.
it really was.
Like, slow down. I don't think so.
It was really yeah, and I was trying to be polite, and of course, it was very attractive, but I was just like, okay, come on now, easy. Let's just slow
Easy.
down here.
Take it easy there, buddy.
Yeah,
That is funny. Maybe his old he's probably still talking about that.
yeah.
I bet he is.
Oh my goodness. So
No,
yeah, so it's what that's one occasion I could think of anyway.
I'm sure. I'm sure. I mean, just probably on any given night. Like Ina, I don't know if it's Ina or Ina. I'm gonna say Ina. I hope that's okay. She said it was a stunning gig at Jazz Cafe
Oh,
last
thank
Sunday.
you.
Oh,
Thank you so
nice.
much.
Oh man, this is when I
Yeah,
wish
I
I
got
was
to meet them. Oh,
here.
this honestly so like amazing. Like when people travel from abroad, because you forget, and these guys came from Germany, and in fact, I met a lovely, beautiful lady who from Atlanta that was in the house as well. So, when I meet the fans and get to talk to them, and because some of them do communicate on social media, so I do communicate if I do happen to see their messages and stuff. So it's lovely to sort of put the name to the
Yeah.
faces and stuff. So
And Ina, thank you for that. She said
no,
Ina. I love it. So, your song,
yeah,
Fingerprints. I
fingerprints.
I remember asking you before, was this a uh, love letter to someone special, or tell us about Fingerprints?
Well, Fingerprints wasn't actually written by me. It was written by amazing songwriter called Ayana and this producer Lorenzo Johnson. So they presented the song to me, but it was something that I instantly connected with and could relate to because I had definitely been in that situation where like there's always that person, even though it never worked out for whatever reason, they kind of leave that imprint on you, on your heart. And yeah, it's just one of those. I've definitely been in that situation. That's the one that probably took me forever to get over. um so that's what that song's really talking about. It's just talking about that love, that love situation that you've been in, that it's over, but even though it's over, they don't leave. They don't leave you. They're always, yeah, they always manage to
Ooh,
find their way. You know what I mean? And so I guess it's just about finding a way to sort of block it off so you can get on with your life, really.
yeah,
So that is what Fingerprints, yeah, is about. And I think a lot of people can relate to. In fact, even like my musicians in the band were like, "Oh my gosh, this song is deep,"
it is.
because it's kind of like they could also relate to that situation because obviously
Mm.
they've been in that as well. So yeah, that song is definitely one of my favorites.
I think it's something that we can all relate to. In fact, it kind of goes in with our conversation from earlier.
Yeah,
Just right. I mean, there's always that one.
there's always that one person.
Yeah.
What's that Usher song? The Usher and Alicia Keys, My Boo. Yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah. You will
one
always
person
be.
that will always have your heart. Yeah, and
Yes,
that is that song.
exactly. Yeah, and I mean, if we're honest, I mean, maybe everybody has that one person, you
I
know?
think they do. I think they might not admit it to themselves, but I think, yeah, definitely, there's always that one person that is just, for whatever reason, you stays with you, and it could be like you might see something, smell something, and it just reminds you of that person, and
Yeah,
yeah, because it left that kind of impression on you.
exactly. Donnie, love is a beautiful thing. I have experienced true love once before in my life, but when the bottom fell out, life has been all about me, myself, and I. If I'm fortunate, maybe
Okay.
you'll find me again. I'm mostly alone, but not lonely. Love this. I'm blessed and life is good. Peace, blessings, and mo music. You got that right.
Really?
Oh, that was awesome.
And I love the fact that he said, "When love finds him," you know.
Mm,
I think that is so,
yes.
yeah, that sums it up really.
I believe that's how it works. I do
Yeah.
believe how it works. I mean, because how many times as we've been talking about, we've, maybe just chose poorly because of our loneliness.
Circumstances. Yeah, definitely. And I think sometimes you can just find yourself in that situation where you just, because you're spending a lot of time with someone, you just fall in love with them or whatever. So,
Yeah,
but then necessarily that, the right situation for you. But,
yeah.
love in it is just a, yeah, powerful thing, I guess.
It's so powerful. Then what do you do? What about, I don't know if you've ever been in a situation like this. Um, say you're in one of those relationships where you know it's not great, and you know you're probably the one doing all the giving and loving the most, but then that person, your person, kind of shows up.
Oh
Then
wow.
would you bail from the one you're in for the new
Go to
guy?
the next one. I think, do you know what? Have I been in that situation? I don't know if I have, but I think if I was in that situation, I think I'd have to, yeah, as long as it's, you bail out cleanly.
Yes,
There's no
exactly.
crossover,
Yeah. You don't
You
want to
do
hurt
it.
anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. If you make a clean break and then you want to start that situation, but sometimes the grass isn't always green on the other side. But
That's true.
however, I
Yeah.
think the main thing is you just got to follow your heart, haven't you? So if it,
Yeah.
if that for you to kind of get your head turned when you see that other person must mean that you really aren't happy in that the other situation. So I think that's good reason enough to make a run for it.
There you go, and give you the courage to make if you're one of those people who, doesn't know how to get out, and you know
Yeah,
it's not a relationship that's gonna be long term, maybe that'll kinda help you.
yeah.
I guess.
It's a lot to think about, isn't it? I think you got to do what's right for you, though. Life's too short.
Life's too
Um,
short. I mean, and when it comes to relationships, yeah, you do have to kind of figure it out. It's like, okay, a lot of self-talk in that moment. It's like, all right, because the grass, as you said, is not always greener on the other side. But if you're not happy right here, right now, I mean, like if you're miserable, but you're just hanging in there because you don't want to be alone,
because you
then
don't want to be alone. Yeah, that's. I think that's a big
then go.
mistake. Definitely, I think
Yeah,
you're better off. Yeah, you're better off getting out of that situation. Because I've seen scenarios where people aren't happy, but they just stay together because I don't know
just
I mean, obviously
because.
it's difficult, especially if you've got kids.
Yeah,
I don't have kids, so I can't really sort of
same.
say too much. Yeah, because I've not been in not walked in in those shoes.
I do have
However,
a cat, though. I have a
ah,
wonderful cat.
you have
He's my baby.
oh,
I'm trying to sell you on Sphinx cats.
right, I know, yeah, yeah. So yeah, so it's one of those things. I think sometimes you're better off alone than to be in the wrong situation. That's how I look at it anyway.
I
Because
totally agree.
yeah, because being in the wrong situation can stifle you, can actually prevent you from finding something that's going to make you happy.
Yeah.
Um, so I think it's really important just to follow your heart and your gut instincts and just and wait for the right situation. Really.
Yeah, yeah. I love this relationship talk with you. We can
I
just go on and on and on. I love it. And thank you all for commenting too. I love this. Make sure you support Hil St. Soul. I mean, her music is absolutely beautiful. Those of you who are on here commenting about being at her concerts, I'm jealous.
know.
Oh my goodness. I am fortunately a fan, and I love listening to your new music, your
Thank
classics
you.
as well, but Fingerprints is everything. And so
Oh,
what's the next thing? What's the next thing that you're working on?
well, I'm sort of working on my next project, even though obviously this one working this one at the moment.
Yeah,
So, but I'm always trying to stay creative. I'm trying to just put some shows together. To be honest with you, I'm really trying to get
nice.
myself to the US. I really need to
Yes.
it's been a while since I performed out there, so we're trying to work on getting some shows out there. So those are the main things that I'm really focusing on at the moment, because obviously I've got this new album, Back in Love, which I'm promoting
Yeah.
and plugging, but I haven't had the chance to share with the audience in the States yet, and I'm hoping that will
We're
happen soon.
ready. We are ready for you. Uh-oh. Sophia, she said she's going to YouTube. As
Ah,
soon as you finish talking, good. Do it,
thank
do it.
you, thank
But
you.
also, where's the best place you want people to support you and buy your music?
Well, I mean, you can get some. I've got some CDs and vinyl on my website, which is www.hilstreetsoul.com. That's Hill with one L. Alternatively, you can go on Amazon, iTunes, all the digital kind of platforms. Download it, stream it. It's available everywhere. Um, if you want to support me, yeah, that is the best way to do that.
I keep saying Hil St Soul. It's Hil Street Soul.
Yeah, Hil St Soul. Yeah, so yes, it's
Why am
Hil
I
St
saying
Soul.
Saint? I don't
You
even know
know
why.
what?
I don't even know why. I apologize.
I've
I
been called so many
discovered
names.
them.
Wall Street
What am I doing?
Blues, you name it.
Who am who am I talking about? But yeah, I want everybody to support you, support your music.
Thank
Go to her
you.
website. You can. It's probably the easiest thing is just go right to your website. That way
Yeah,
they
go
can.
to my website because it's got the links to all my, different social media platforms. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, on Instagram, even TikTok, I'm a newbie at TikTok, but I'm
Woo!
on there now. I know it's like
Are
trying to
you
keep.
doing like all these crazy things on TikTok?
No, not yet. I just
Do
generally
it.
post little video clips of like behind the scenes or if I'm
That's nice.
rehearsing, but I don't think I've captured myself. Every time crazy things happen, I'm usually on my own, so I'm not really recording myself.
It's hard to kind of have the phone ready.
It's
People manage, though.
a
Some
whole
people
other world, all of that, honestly. So yeah,
manage.
so I'm on those platforms. Yeah, it is. I don't, it takes a lot of your time, doesn't it? But
It
I had to
does.
be dedicated to do that. But yeah, so I'm on those platforms. So yeah, really the best place to go is on my website, and then it's got links to my YouTube channel where you can see my videos and what have you. So yeah, and you can also message me if you want, and I do get back to spend a lot of time getting back to people. So
And
yeah,
social media.
yes. Oh, she's asking if it's Hil Street. No, it's HILSTSOUL.
There you
So the
go.
street is abbreviated.
Yes.
That's a nice name, Delphina.
I know
Ah,
it is, right?
Belling. I hope I said it right.
And
Bellinger.
actually, so as soon as they can see it right there, Hill Street Soul. So actually, if
Yeah, Hil
they,
Street.
you can see it right there. Go on Instagram and just put that in there with no spaces, and they can follow you on Instagram as well.
They can
That's
follow me
what
on
I.
Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. Twitter.
Awesome! Hill Street Soul, you're amazing. Thank you
Oh,
for spending time.
oh, my pleasure. And thank you for having me again, because it's only like maybe like a month or so that I was
Yeah.
chatting to you. So thank you again for,
Oh, you're
sharing your
welcome.
platform. So
Oh,
appreciate it.
listen, you're welcome back here anytime, whenever you're ready.
Oh,
And then just let us know. Let us know when you're coming to the States to perform. We will
I
be front
will.
and center.
Absolutely. I will definitely share it with everybody as soon as I've got some definitive dates. I will definitely share that.
It'll be this year.
I'm hoping it's this year. Yeah. In fact, I was actually offered dates in June, but unfortunately it clashed with my dates over here in the UK.
Okay.
So I wasn't able to accept it. So I'm waiting to see what they're going to come up with.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This has
Yeah.
been so much fun. Those of you
Oh,
who have
thank you.
commented, thank you. People are going to comment even long after we close this out because they'll
Oh,
live
appreciate you all.
forever. Yes. Ina, thank you too. Yeah, this is
Bye
amazing.
now.
All right, everybody, make sure you get all of her music. Go to her website and support everything Hill Street Soul is doing. Thank you so much, love. And thank you all
Bye.
for listening to Pillow Talk. You're going to hear her again Sunday night. So it'll be at 10 p.m. on Jam 98 Jam 98, and also on 96.3 WHUR and on Sirius XM channel 141. And if you haven't heard Fingerprints, you're going to hear it then. So make sure you pick up your own copy. Thank you so much. Bye, Hill. You're
Bye,
amazing.
Angela. Thank you. Bye, Kirsty. I can see her on there. Bye.
Bye. Thank you,
Love,
guys.
love.
Mwah.
Thank you.